So last week I released a video called Time Blocking Sucks. Now, it went down really well. It was on my YouTube, it was on my website, I posted it on LinkedIn, and I also posted it on the Masters group that I'm in with Paul Miners. And he replied with blasphemy. Now, it was all in good fun. He actually messaged me and said, listen, why don't we make a video for the pros and cons of time blocking and not time blocking? It was a great idea. So I'm going to put the video up now, have a watch of it, see what you think. It's a great video. We had fun doing it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. See you after this.
Hey everyone, my name is Paul and joined by Kay, and today we're actually going to record a quick time blocking debate video, which we're both going to be uploading this to each of our YouTube channels. And I guess I'll give a bit of background. The idea for this video came about, I recently had Kay on my podcast, and we had a great conversation, but following that, Kay posted a video about why he doesn't like time blocking. And as a lot of people watching my channel will know, I'm a big fan of time blocking. And so I thought, why don't we have a bit of a chat about the pros and cons of time blocking, alternatives to time blocking, why you might choose to or not do it. And so that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, that's it's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah. So and Kay, so we were talking at the start. Maybe you want to explain, like, there's no one best approach to we're not trying to say one approach is better here, right?
No, exactly. I mean, the thing is, there are always different ways of doing the same thing. And there are opposite sides of the spectrum. So obviously, Paul, does the time blocking thing. I tried it many moons ago, and it just doesn't work for me because of how I work and what it is. So there's pros and cons for both, for sure. The funny thing is, when I posted that video, I didn't really think about what you were doing. I just posted a video saying time blocking sucks. And I was like, and as soon as I posted it, I was like, oh dear, yeah, Paul. So it's kind of funny. And then when you messaged me, and I was like, yeah, this is actually a great idea for a video. So you can actually show differences.
Well, why don't we start then? Why don't we start by each showing our screens and just showing how we use our calendar? So
yeah,
for those that are like, what is time blocking? This is my calendar. and basically the approach here is, I'll explain the colors in a second, but what I do is, if I have something I need to do, like a task on my to-do list in Asana, that task gets a block of time on my calendar. So if we look at, let's look at yesterday, Monday, which has just kind of gone. And let me just make this a little bit taller so it kind of, oh, hang on a sec. Let me just go like that. Okay, make it all a bit bigger. So Monday, like, I block out those time in the email for email in the morning, do some stuff with some sales funnels, publish a blog post. I had to write a blog post here, set up some Google AdWords, change some pages on my website. So each of these blocks here basically corresponds to a task. And my day didn't start like this with this plan. In fact, my plan changed. We actually had a fire drill at the co-working space where I work at about 11 o'clock. So this took longer than I thought. And so with the time blocking, even though I'm saying, yep, I'm going to do this task at 10 till 11, the plan's always changing. This calendar stays open on my computer constantly. And as I'm working, I'll make this block bigger because it's now taking longer to do that. And so something I was doing here, in fact, I think this task here, this was originally here, and I bumped it to make time to finish this thing. And so I'm constantly revising my plan throughout the day. And I guess why I like this is it means that I can take all of my intentions, my tasks, the things that I want to do, and I can create a clear plan of when I'm going to do them. And it makes me think about how long they're going to take as well, so I don't commit to doing too much. So that's my that's my calendar, and kind of basically how I'm using it. And the colors, just to explain, it's not that important, but the colors, green is basically appointments with clients, like Kay and I have this call right now. Blue is tasks. Yellow is I block out time for walk and lunch, so I can't be booked. Red is kind of going to the gym, and purple is a shared calendar. I tell Haley when I'm going to be at home and stuff. Yeah, so that's my calendar.
Yeah, I mean, it does look, it makes sense. I completely understand the reason of blocking, and you probably saw it in my video that I do block specific parts as well. for certain things, obviously. So if I'm working on something and I need that time, then I will block it. What I don't do is, I'll show you my calendar. Where am I going with this? So with my calendar, it's so sparse compared to
Yeah.
compared to what you're doing. And I use G Suite. I don't have apps or anything running. If you notice, I've got nothing running. So I have 3 calendars: a personal, a business, and a work. That's it. Now, what I usually do, green is personal, so I just put personal things in there. Blue is work that I've actually got, not work that I've got to do, but appointments that I have to be with clients. Appointments for video calls and so on, I don't always put in my calendar, actually, which is weird, I guess, because it comes into my project management tool, which is Todoist. So I kind of know what's going on.
I was going to say, like, for a consultant and somebody that works with so many clients, where are all your appointments?
Exactly right. I don't put them all in here because most of the work that I do is, like, for instance, this week I've put focus points here, and focus to me means block it. So it is a form of blocking. It's like, okay, I got to do something there, but I do a lot of work, but I do enough for what I need. I don't overwork myself. So the whole point of my work, and as we discussed in my podcast, in the podcast that I was on, life to me is about living and not working. So I try to make my tools work for me in the way I don't want to be dictated as to what to do. So, orange is stuff that I'm doing for business, as it were, anything business related. Green is personal stuff, and I don't do it. I don't need to write it in here because I live on my own with my dog, so I don't really need to do it. Blue is stuff that I actually need to do with the client, so I got to be with the client or whatever. But the rest of it is in my project management tool. The point is to have inboxes. If you have too many inboxes, you just go crazy. So my inboxes is my email, obviously, my agenda, and my Todoist. And I, just like you, who lives in Asana, I live in my Todoist.
Yeah.
And the appointments thing is kind of a secondary things that I need to do. I know you have 2 screens. I just have one screen, so your calendar's open on one and Asana's open on the main one. I just work on one thing at a time, basically.
Yeah.
I think there's a guy called Carl Pauline who coined the phrase hard borders. And it just made a lot of sense to me. As soon as he said it, I was like, well, yeah, actually, that's how I'm working. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
And I get that the time blocking that I do is like the harder, more manual route. People ask me, like, do you sync your Asana to your calendar? Is that how you've done it? And I'm like, no, it's very manual. Yeah. And like, to give you an idea, like on a Friday, I kind of look at what I've got coming up over the next week, and I go, right, I need to do this on this day and this on this day. And I have some white space open. So later in the week, you might have seen I had some white space, which is more flexible. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But the point is I try and get the big bricks in there. And each day, like, so at the end of today, I'll kind of look at what I have coming up tomorrow, check that all my tasks are on there. So it's very manual. Like I said, you have to think about how long is this going to take? When am I going to do it? And having the calendar open helps with that, but it is a lot of work. And with that, it's quite a hard habit to form. I mean, I've been doing it for years now. It's just second nature. Yeah. I can't imagine not doing it another way. But when people see this method, they're like, oh, wow, that seems quite intense. And it is, but that's, I think, one of the reasons it works.
Yeah, because you're used to it. It's worked for you over a period of time. Yeah. For someone to kind of come into any one of these, not just mine or yours, but any one of these systems, it's kind of difficult. It's like, wow, how the hell do you work? The point is, and I think you were talking about it in one of your podcasts, don't copy someone else's system.
Yeah.
get the bits from it that you think will work for you, and then adapt it to yourself.
Yeah.
Basically, and don't throw away the system that you have. And kind of this tool hopping thing, which again you spoke about before, which I've heard about, and I do. I mean, it's my business. It's our business to go and find tools, so we do it, so we know what's going on. But it is do as I say and not as I do, because this is our job. We do this stuff. This is the stuff that. But when you're consulting with a client and they see how you work, they're like, oh my God, what do you do? It's crazy. So you have to, what Paul's doing, what I'm doing, what you're doing, what I'm doing is a complete opposite of the spectrum.
Yeah.
There's lots of people in the middle.
And you know what's interesting is something you said, which is you're all about, it's just life. There's no work-life balance. You just want to kind of have freedom in your life and not be kind of told what to do. And it's funny because I'm basically the same. Like, I'm one of the reasons I want to work for myself and why I want to be more productive and efficient is to create that freedom. My way of going about it is just different. And how I, even though there's the plan on the calendar, I move things around all the time. And that's how I know I can get things done and, in a sense, create freedom. So even though like, we're very similar and our end goals are very much the same, like it's just two different ways of going about it. It's really interesting.
Different ways of going about it. Again, it's the end goal is exactly the same. Work for yourself, work in your own time, be happy, make enough money. And that's basically what I'm doing. But my method is, again, the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. But if you put me in your office and said work, I can do it. But I think it'll be the same the other way around as well. If you came in here and started doing this.
Oh, totally. Your method, it seems, I don't know if you've read Getting Things Done.
But
I think David Allen, he says that's I think what he's saying to do with the calendar, which is, it's really, I guess, the time sensitive stuff. Like you had that meeting with me today, you had a haircut for Wolf, like the stuff that is like scheduled
to do.
Yeah, it's scheduled
Absolutely.
at a specific time. That's the GTD approach of using calendar. Because using GTD, he's like, no, you don't. You only do it for time-sensitive things. The other tasks and projects are on your task list. So I'd say you're probably closer to GTD than I am.
I'm closer to that. The GTD method is a bit too rigid as well for me for certain things. We're not going to get into that, but for the task part of it, I don't do. But yeah, I guess it is kind of the same. It's kind of similar to that. I mean, my assistant is Todoist. My Todoist is my assistant, and the reason why it's my assistant is that I tell my assistant to remind me to do something whenever it is, and it will tell me. He or she, I don't know who it is, will tell me what to do. So, and it works insanely well for me. And if I show people how I work, some people are like, I want this, and other people are like, how the hell do you live? I mean, like what I'm doing with you, time blocking sucks. So there's so many different kind of paths to get to that end goal, and you just basically got to find it. And that's the whole point of this video that we wanted to create for you guys. So, but yeah, it's interesting. We do the same work, but we approach it completely differently.
Yeah. Well, this has been good. Anything else you want to add? I think I've kind of said all I need to, but yeah.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Again, the tool isn't the thing. The system is the thing.
The principle.
Once you have the system figured out, you can, if you want to, bounce between tools, which is not the right way of doing. But the point is, the system is the issue, is the thing, not the tools itself. Once you have the system in place, live your life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I very rarely switch tools. I've been operating on the same things like Apple Calendar, Apple Mail, Asana for years. Like, it's funny actually with Mail, just a bit of Asana. Often you see all these new Mail clients come out and they look really cool. You try them. Nothing seems to work as well as Apple Mail. So I end up going back to it. Like, it's much better for search, more reliable. Just funny, isn't it? You end up trying things and go back to what you were doing anyway.
Exactly, absolutely. I mean, I'm a Mac guy. I'm a Mac junkie, and I've been with Macs since, I don't know, 88 even, 87 maybe. And so I've grown up with these Mac apps. I moved over to the cloud apps because I just wanted it to be simpler.
Yeah.
No other reason. So Apple Mail is the best client. Forget Thunderbird, forget anything. However, I would say right now, Gmail is the better client, but then if you're not in that ecosystem, don't move. Stick with your Apple Mail because it is the best system there is.
Yeah.
This has been great. It's kind of cool to make a little video like this. Maybe we should do more.
Yeah, we could do a collab channel or something. Yeah, this is cool. All right, thanks, Kay.
Thanks, Paul. See you later. Ciao. So, what did you think? Do you go for time blocking or do you not go for time blocking? Now, the point of, as I said in the video, the point of this isn't one's better than the other. There are two ways, there are many ways of doing the same thing, but this is just how we do it. The thing is with me and Paul, we get on really well and we kind of do things, the end goal is actually exactly the same, but just how we get there is different. So what did you think? Do you time block or do you not time block? Which one's the best for you? Figure out the system. Don't copy someone's system, as I said in the video. It's best to actually have your own system and just take things from what you see in here online. If you have any questions, contact Paul or contact me, and I'm sure we'll be able to help you. Talk to you soon, and remember, keep it simple. Ciao.